Yo, what's cracking, folks? Jeremy Vassar here with practical painting and a little bit different video here today. I'm actually going to take you guys along with me to a job site where we are going to paint a newly renovated bathroom. This is a master bathroom, so it is decently large, but we're working behind some of my favorite carpenters, and I thought this would be a cool little ride along. Kind of taking you through the process from the completion of their side of things, of the renovation, to it's going to be a lot of new drywall, and we're going to basically be building up all our top coats, doing some prep out, and all of that good stuff. So not so much a tutorial, more of our process for doing these bathrooms, and I've done quite a number of these because we've been working behind these guys for, I think, over 12 years now. They do amazing work, and now it's just time to head to Sherwin-Williams, pick up the paint for the day, and go ahead and get to the job site. All right, ready to go. Oh man, there's Alex. What's up, buddy?
Nothing. What's going on? How are you?
I'm just taking the fine folks on YouTube onto the job site with me today.
Are you? Nice.
Yeah, we're gonna go paint a bathroom. So I want my stuff. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
All right, so picked up the paint at Sherwin-Williams, and now I'm actually trapped in the parking lot, which I'll show you in a second as I shoot this out the window. The tractor trailer's here, delivering paint. Ask Sherwin-Williams. Do. Just waiting. All right. Product placement for Sherwin-Williams. All right, onward to the job site. Finally, let's go. All right, so made it to the job site, got my paint and everything, so I'm gonna kind of figure out a good spot to set up all my crap, but this is the bathroom that we're in. It is a lot of new drywall mixed in with a lot of patching and old drywall, which you can see behind me here, and I'll kind of rotate the camera around here in a second. So yeah, this is all brand new. Shower, and then like all the green stuff, that's new drywall there. But you can see like a lot of the ceiling's been spackled out. That's a new fan. We've got these doors over here that need to get hit, and also boom, inside the closet there. So these are pre-finished shelves that I'll have to pull out and put back. But thankfully I don't have to paint those, so that's sweet. And yeah, this is probably about a 10-foot high ceiling. Nothing too crazy, with a little bit of a skylight situation going on there. And toilet's already installed, so we'll have to use a little mini roller to get in behind there. So we're going to be taking down these, I'm going to leave the light fixture up because those are a pain in the butt, but I am going to take these sconces down. And then we've got some face plates to take out right here, a couple around, and towel bar, and then we're just going to be, you know, more face plates, and then tarping things off. Also, one thing you'll see me do is I like running some tape right along the baseboard here, just actually on the floor, because a lot of times when you're rolling, the drop cloth can scooch back a little bit. So if you give yourself a little bit of margin right up against the baseboard, that's just nice to help with splatter once we pull everything out of here. So yeah, that's phase one. I'm gonna try and time lapse as much of this as I can. Hopefully I'll get some good angles, and then we'll get on to starting to prep out and prime everything, because that's really what we're trying to get done today. I'd like to prime all the walls. I've also got to tarp off everything, run some plastic, and just make sure all of the nice features in here are covered. Also, we won't be able to pull these mirrors down because they are glued in, but that's cool. And then I'm gonna be running some plastic along this shower as well, so that we don't get anything on that. And then the glass is not in yet. That'll be coming probably another couple weeks. So it's kind of nice that we're in here already. Be able to finish this before those guys get in here. All right, something real quick on these sconces to get them off over here. So you see those jammies, they have like lights in them, obviously, so they have bulbs. You want to pull these out. But then if you look underneath, it's got that piece there in the middle around where like the socket is. It needs to come off, and my hands are too small to fit up in there, which we run into this a lot. But a lot of times these fixtures come with a tool that looks like that, and that's actually going to go right up in the middle here, and then be able to unscrew, and then so then yeah, like these are the pieces in there, and then this is the piece this is just like, this part's just a spacer, but then this is the part that we needed to unscrew, and that's where this tool grips onto that, and then you can unscrew it, because it's super hard to like get your fingers all the way in there to grab this and undo it. So that's just something to be aware of. And if you get new sconces, definitely hold on to this tool. It's super, super handy. Alrighty, so I've kind of got all my prep out done in here. I'll show the camera around in a second, but I've got everything tarped off, and I try and use drop cloths and tape as much as I can, because a lot of times we end up running fans in here, and I don't like a lot of plastic blowing around. I did use plastic over here on the shower. I'll show you guys here. So that's all plasticed off, and then we've got our drop cloths. And you might have seen me run tape right up against the baseboard. That just gives you a little bit more margin for error. I do the same thing on the countertop here, because I like using drop cloths, and just in case those back up a little bit, I still have a little bit of margin on that. But all the fixtures are taped off, and then this big cabinet in the middle, I'll tarp that off when I'm ready to roll, but I need to cut around all of this, so I don't want to kind of cover that up just yet. I'm not ready to do that. And I think that's pretty much it. We got all the face plates off, and this thing's ready to rip now. So the next step is to actually cut in everything with primer. I think I've got like Green Label Pro Block. It's basically the same thing as multi-purpose primer from Sherwin-Williams. So that's what I'm going to be using. But what you're about to watch is me cutting in everything, and then I will roll all of this as well. So we're going to prime, and we'll see how much time I have today. Things are going a little bit slower just because I've been filming and had to run out to Sherwin-Williams to get plastic. But we shall continue. So moving on. Here we go. little mission update here. I've got all of the walls cut in, and it's a little spicy up in that skylight because it's about 100 degrees out. So even though the AC is running in here, it is quite hot up towards the ceiling, which is fine. But I'm about to roll the walls, and you'll see me rolling with I just went with a 9-inch because some of these walls are a little tight. But I'm using a Worcester Produzi FTP 1/2 inch, and then I'm also using a little Whizzer 4-inch for behind the toilet and some of the tighter spots around the lights. So everything is tarped off, but we're ready to rip, and I'll get everything primed today, and then either I will start cracking on the ceiling or I might start smashing some of this trim. So we still have a little bit more to go today, but we're cruising right along. All right, so I've just rolled all of the primer and on the inside of the closet as well, and you may have noticed that not everything in here is new drywall. Some of it was the old paint, which was also green, which kind of looks similar to the green board that they used when they patched in some new stuff. So I'd say in this bathroom it was about 50-50 between brand new drywall and like the original walls, both on the ceiling and the walls. When I have a situation like that, a lot of times I like to go ahead and just prime everything. That pretty much guarantees me a solid base to start from, so I can guarantee the finish on my top coats. It's not necessary in some applications. Like if you do a patch in a wall that's been previously painted, a lot of times you just need to prime that spackle spot or like the part that's been repaired, and then you can just, go over it with your top coats. And usually if you're using a high quality paint, which we are, then you're all good. But a lot of times in these bathrooms, particularly like nicer renovations like this, I like to just kind of guarantee the results. So that's why I went ahead and primed everything. We are running out of time today, but I'm gonna probably bust out some trim paint. I'm using Duration Semi-Gloss, which is one of my kind of go-tos and favorites. So I'm gonna start ripping on the trim, see how much of the trim and doors I can get to right now. Alrighty, so that's gonna do it for today. I'm gonna clean up here real quick, but we got kind of sit rep. We got a coat on the trim. Everything's caulked in. I wood puttied everything. Might have a few little wood putty spots tomorrow, and then everything is primed. So tomorrow we're gonna run a second coat on the trim and probably start banging into the ceiling. So that's what's up. Good morning, folks. This is day 2 of this bathroom painting situation, and I'm heading to the job site right now, so let's go. All right, back in the bathroom, and marching orders today is I want to get the ceiling done, another coat on the trim, so that'll button up the trim, and then I will also probably finish the closet. And I'd like to get a top coat on the walls as well, and then see if there's anything I need to spackle out. But I got a little bit of a nerve impingement in my back, so I am moving slightly slower and less spry than I would prefer, but that is okay. We'll see how far we get today, and hopefully we'll just keep smashing along here. All right, so we've got one coat up here on the ceiling. Got one more coat to do on that once it dries. But in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the trim in the doors one more time, and that'll bring up all the trim and doors up to 2 coats. So those will be done. Had to do a little bit more wood putting and caulking this morning, just seeing a few little gaps and things like that. But we're ready to rip now, and by the time I'm done second coat in the trim, it'll be ready to probably go again on the ceiling, and then I'll work on the closet. So we're moving right along. Alright, so the trim is all done. The ceiling's got 2 coats, and I've got 2 coats in the closet. That is drying right now. But before I start cutting into the walls, I'm going to tape out the baseboard. Some guys like doing the trim last, but we like doing it along with the ceiling. That's just part of our process. Works in well for us. And then I'm going to tape out the baseboard with 1.5" frog tape. And the way that I tape it out too, I leave a little bit of overhang, so that way not only it'll give me a clean line when I go to pull tape, but also it'll protect the baseboard from getting any splatter on it, anything like that. So that's what I'm going to work on now, and then I'll be cutting in the walls. Alrighty, so we are actually ready to start ripping on these walls here, and I've got everything taped out. Now I'm about to pour my paint. So we're using some Duration Matte, same stuff we used on the ceiling. This is actually tinted, and the color is Upward 6239 if you are curious. I'm pretty sure this is a blue of sorts. So I'm using my favorite brush of all time, which if you've watched me or any of my other content, you kind of know this is what I like using. This is a 2.5 inch Corona Cortez sashed, which just means it's got this angle. These brushes are friggin' awesome. So that's what I'm going to be using. I'm going to cut in everything first, and then I will be rolling. Same roller I've been using this whole time as well. Different setup, but just the 9-inch Pro Doozy FTP and a little mini roller to get behind the toilet and stuff. And that's what is cracking right now. So tomorrow I should have a shorter day here, because usually if I get everything cut and rolled and then my touch-up spackling done today, then tomorrow all I got to do is sand prime, get everything back up to one coat, and then do a final coat on the walls and then put everything back. So that should work out pretty good here tomorrow, which is Friday, and moving on. So we'll get to it here. Let's get cutting. Yeah. Alright, that's going to do it for today. I got the walls cut and rolled and looking pretty solid. Have a few little things to take care of on the next go around. I don't know if this is going to dry in time for me to do any touch-up spackling today. So I think I'm going to head up out of here. Looking pretty good and still in super good shape to finish early tomorrow, which is sweet. And that's what's up. So here's kind of where we're at with, you know, all of that. Covered up my paint for the evening. I've got to cut in that little spot with a 1.5 inch brush to get a little tighter in there, but this is all still drying. But I think the color's good, and they should dig it. So tomorrow I'll just have final coat and little touch-ups, pull tape, clean up, put everything back, and then we'll get up out of here. So see you tomorrow. Alrighty, so we are back in the bathroom for the third and final day. A little bit of a later start today because I had a quote this morning, but we're ready to go in here. Things are looking good. My brother Josh was kind enough to do a little bit of touch-up spackle on a few little things that I'll show you guys here in a second. So right there, just a few little kind of pinholes and divots and stuff in the wall that were more apparent. We got one right there, and I think we just had some, just a few little pinholes and stuff from the finished spackling that they did. So what I'm gonna do now is sand all that and prime it, and then I will, once it's primed, then I'll get it back up to one coat with the wall paint, and then we'll just do an entire second coat on the walls, and then once that dries we'll just be putting everything back. So hopefully it definitely will not be a full day today here for me, but that's what's up, so let's get cracking. All right, so I'm just pulling tape right now, and one of the things you want to be aware of when you're pulling tape is that you want to kind of pull at a downward angle. I'll show you a spot where I had to pull it up a little bit and it pulled into the wall, so we're gonna have to fix that. But if you don't want that to happen, particularly when you're pulling it off of trim or anything where the wall paint has gotten onto the tape. You want to pull away and down, which I will hopefully be able to show you guys right here. So I started it already, so here's the edge of it, and I'm pulling the tape down, so then that's giving us a clean line without it pulling up. So all the way down. And then we'll come back and just, if there's any like splatters or anything, I'll run around the trim real quick and touch that up. I'll show you this one spot over here. We're gonna have to like repair it a little bit before we recoat. So just a little tip for you. Alrighty, so pretty much all the painting is done, and I have pulled tape and gotten all the drops out of here and everything, so we ended up with a pretty sizable tape ball, which is always very satisfying. Tape pulled pretty good. We have a few bleed through areas which I need to touch up the trim, which is pretty typical. There's one spot over here that I'll show you in a second. But before I do touch-ups, particularly in these bathrooms, I like getting all of my stuff out of the bathroom and generally like clean up everything. I'm gonna run the vacuum here in a second. And then by kind of cleaning and doing all of that stuff, one, I get a real good look at the room where I may need to do some touch-ups or fix something or whatever, but also it gives the chance for the walls to dry. And all the cut-ins and everything while I'm kind of cleaning up and getting things squared away. So that's kind of the way that I do it. And in general, once the walls are dry enough, I'm going to be putting everything back up. I like getting all the face plates back on, the sconces back up, and any like towel bars or anything like that that are hooked into the wall back up, so that way all I'm left with, we're still going to be on the job site, so I don't have to take all my stuff out to my truck, but generally that's when I do that too. I just clean up everything, so all that's left in the bathroom are my paints that I need to like touch up with. Just at least for my own sanity, it just seems to make the most sense. And that way you're dealing with a clean area, so you know what you actually need to touch up, and you're just more accurate with all of that. And it feels good to just clean up and get things moving out and moving on. So I'm gonna show you this spot here real quick and how we're gonna fix it. So right here, the tape pulled up, and see if you can see that. All right, yeah, so right about now, it pulled up, and that's the drywall back there that we need to fix. So you can try and paint it. All right, it's super hard to kind of get in there and film this, but I'll just show you I'll tell you what I'm gonna do, and then I'll film it as best I can. I'm just gonna use some wood filler from Sherwin-Williams. You can use any kind of wood putty, doesn't matter. And this dries pretty quick, because the problem is that this actually pulled both top coats up off of the wall. So we've got to level that out a little bit. You can spackle it. This is just kind of a quick and dirty way to do it. Works super good. And I'm just gonna use a small little putty knife to apply it. And then we'll wait for a little bit, sand it, and then run our top coats over top of that. Dig a little putty out. A lot of times you can actually smear the putty on with your finger, and then I'll even it out with the putty knife. All right, you can see that right there. We've got that flattened out, that'll dry, and then we can sand that super easy and then touch that up. So now we'll just kind of be probably one of the last things we do here. So there you go. Boom, and we are done. So the walls are all second coated. We've got all the hardware back on, and faceplates are put back. Tape is pulled. Did a couple touch-ups, nothing too crazy. Straightening a few lines out here and there, but overall is looking good, and kind of cut in some pan shots of before and after here. Yeah, it turned out really good. Nothing too crazy as far as out of the ordinary. The only thing was that the one bad tape hole over here that kind of pulled into the wall. I forgot the video at the first time I painted it, but you can see now the paint's still drying, but it's looking pretty solid, and that'll dry in there and look pretty solid. So yeah, so that was painting a bathroom. If you enjoyed this video and kind of this style of being on the job site with me, you can check out the video that I will link to at the end of this one, where I stain and paint a staircase. So kind of very similar setup to this video of kind of a couple days on the job site over a bigger project. But until next time, y'all take it easy, work smart, have a good one. Peace.
Amazing.